In my past life, my younger sister was brainwashed by short online videos, intent on diving into the illicit content industry. The videos showed girls being secretly filmed from disgusting angles, but my sister didn't care. She dressed that way on purpose, wasn't it so people would film her? Besides, they're just filming her, not doing anything to her, why be so sensitive? By the time I found out, she'd already exploited her identity to take countless photos. Furious, I dragged her to the police. She became enraged, pushed me off a high floor, and I fell to my death. In this life, my sister excitedly boasted to me, "Serena, I'm going to work in the illicit content industry. One secretly filmed video can sell for 1,000 yuan." I gave a cold laugh and immediately played along. That's right, aside from the slight risk of secretly filming, the profits are truly high. How about this, since your face won't be visible anyway, why don't you start by posting videos of yourself first? A flicker of light appeared in Jane's eyes, followed by a hint of hesitation. "Serena, isn't that too risky? What if someone recognizes me?" I chuckled. "What are you scared of? Didn't you say dressing sparsely was for people to film? Why are you scared when it's your turn? Besides, your face won't be visible, so the risk is zero and the profit is incredibly high. Miss out now and you won't get another chance." Her hesitation quickly dissolved, swallowed by greed. Jane slapped her thigh. "Serena, how is your mind so smart? I only thought about skimming off others. Why didn't I realize I was the biggest commodity myself? All right, I'll listen to you. No one will recognize me anyway." The gaze she directed at me, once filled with envy, now held admiration. "Serena, you're still the quick-witted one." I smirked, saying nothing. Quick-witted. In my past life, my brains were splattered across the cement floor below. Truly quick-witted. Jane was completely immersed in her dream of getting rich. Filming herself meant zero cost, zero risk. "Once I save enough, I'll buy a professional pinhole camera." A greedy smile spread across her face. I lowered my eyes, concealing the coldness deep within them. "There won't be once you save enough. You have no future." "Jane, Serena, come out and eat some fruit." My mother's voice echoed from the living room. Jane immediately hid her phone, making a SHHH gesture at me. Her eyes sparkled with the mischievousness of a little girl who'd successfully pulled off a prank, as if this was some great secret between us. I followed her out of the room, my face devoid of emotion. In the living room, my father pushed a plate of sliced cantaloupe towards Jane. "Jane, eat a lot, you've been studying hard." My mother brought over a plate of strawberries, carefully removing the stems one by one and placing them in a bowl next to Jane. "Mom washed strawberries for you, they're all freshly bought today." My spot in front of me was empty. I was used to it. In this house, I was an outsider. Jane was my parents' darling, a precious gem in their hands, while I was just a disobedient daughter with no prospects. Jane cast me a triumphant glance, popped a ripe red strawberry into her mouth. My father, intrigued, asked his favorite daughter, "What kind of business have you found?" "Oh, it's just a small online business," Jane said vaguely, her face beaming. "If I do well, I can earn tens of thousands of yuan a month." My father's eyes lit up. "That much? Far more than your sister's pathetic salary?" My mother chimed in. "Our Jane is truly intelligent, not like some people. Even after graduating from university, still so clueless, no flexibility at all." I lowered my head, silently taking a piece of cantaloupe. Some people in their mouths naturally meant me. My salary of 6,000 yuan a month was synonymous with no prospects in their eyes. Jane was praised to the skies, becoming even more unrestrained in her speech. "Of course, this is called seizing the opportunities of the times. Some people have outdated ideas, they deserve to be poor their whole lives." Her words were like a needle piercing my heart, but I didn't refute them. In my past life, I had used my entire life to prove that reasoning with them was useless. They only believed what they wanted to believe. That evening, Jane secretly pulled me into her room. She locked the door and presented her phone to me like a treasure. "Serena, look, I finished filming." On the phone screen was a dimly lit video. A girl in a cool, spaghetti-strap nightgown lay face down on the bed, playing on her phone. The camera was angled from below, a tricky and vulgar shot, perfectly positioned to glimpse below the skirt without showing the face. The girl in the video was Jane. "How is it?" she asked me with an expectant look. "This angle isn't bad, is it? Can't see the face at all, but there's enough goods." "Not bad," I nodded. "I found a buyer. They saw the 10-second preview and offered 1,000 yuan right away." Jane was so excited her face flushed red. "Now I'll send them the full version." Her fingers quickly swiped across the screen. Soon, the money was transferred. Seeing the Alipay notification for 1,000 yuan, Jane almost jumped for joy. "Oh my God, Serena, it's so easy to make money." She hugged me tightly, laughing and screaming, as if she could already see mountains of gold and silver calling to her. I let her hug me, stiff and unmoving. That excitement was exactly like when she boasted about her secretly filmed achievements in the past life. "Serena, you truly are my lucky star." Jane released me, planting a quick kiss on my cheek. "If you hadn't reminded me, I wouldn't have thought of such a brilliant idea." I forced a stiff smile. We're sisters after all. From that day on, Jane was completely engrossed in this quick money-making scheme. Every day after school, her first act was to lock herself in her room, researching camera angles and new scripts. However, I noticed that perhaps due to the increasing pressure of filming, she started sleeping poorly, developing a habit of drinking milk before bed every night. Many times in the middle of the night, I heard frightened mumbling from her room. "Too high, don't push." To make the videos more impactful, she bought many provocative clothes. Those clothes were tragically scant compared to the innocent, lovely princess dresses my mother bought for her, truly two extremes. My mother wasn't oblivious. Once, while cleaning Jane's room, she saw the spaghetti-strap tops and short shorts carelessly tossed on a chair. "Jane, why did you buy these kinds of clothes? They're not discreet at all." My mother's voice clearly carried disapproval. Jane rolled her eyes and immediately had an excuse. "Mom, this is called the hot girl style. Everyone online wears them like this now, and I only bought them to wear at home. It's not like I'm going out." As she spoke, she took out her phone and scrolled through some photos of hot girls to show my mother. "See, Mom, everyone wears them like this. How beautiful they are." My mother was half convinced, but looking at the beautiful, glamorous hot girls in the photos, she finally said nothing more, only cautioning, "It's fine to wear them at home, but don't wear them outside." Jane mouthed, "Yes, yes," but turned and made a devilish face at me. The family's financial situation subtly changed due to Jane's work. She no longer asked her parents for pocket money, but started proactively buying things for them. Today it was a high-end cosmetic set, tomorrow the latest massage chair. My parents were overjoyed, constantly praising, "Our Jane is truly capable." Watching the three of them happy and harmonious, I only felt a knot of nausea in my stomach. It was my father's birthday. Jane generously booked a private room at a 5-star hotel. At the dinner table, she took out an exquisitely wrapped box. "Happy birthday, Dad. This is a gift I bought for you." My father opened it to see an expensive brand-name watch. His eyes lit up and he said, "This child, why waste money on such things?" But his hands were very honest, eagerly putting the watch on. "My daughter truly has prospects." He raised his wrist, admiring it repeatedly. "Much better than your sister, who only buys me some worthless trinkets." My hand beneath the table silently clenched. What I had bought him was a custom-made set of purple clay teaware, which cost me half a month's salary. Now the gift box containing that teaware was carelessly tossed in a corner, unnoticed by anyone. Jane cast me a disdainful glance. "Serena, don't blame Dad for being blunt, it's mainly your salary. You really can't buy anything good. How about you work with me? I'll guide you, guarantee you'll earn more than you do now." My mother immediately chimed in. "That's right, Serena, you should learn from your sister, don't be gloomy all day." My father also nodded. "Family should help each other. Your sister offering to guide you is a blessing." I looked at them, my mouth opening and closing, feeling utterly helpless. In my past life, when I discovered Jane's actions and wanted to drag her to confess, they said the same thing. "She's still a child, how can you be so heartless as her sister? It's just a few photos, right? No one lost any flesh, did they? If you dare call the police, we'll disown you." Those words still echoed in my ears. I took a deep breath, suppressing the hatred in my heart, and looked up, giving Jane a smile. "All right." Jane was clearly surprised by my quick agreement. She paused for a moment, then an uncontainable joy spread across her face. "Great, Serena. With us working together, we'll definitely make a fortune." My parents also smiled with satisfaction. That's how it should be, family sticks together. The latter half of the meal almost turned into Jane's personal lecture. She incessantly shared her success stories, from choosing trendy outfits to bargaining with buyers. Throughout, I smiled and nodded, occasionally offering a constructive suggestion or two. For example, you could use some small props to add more interest to the video. Or, on special holidays, you could release themed videos. Jane looked at me with new eyes, only praising my business acumen. After the meal, she eagerly pulled me home, wanting to immediately begin our collaboration. "Serena, today is Dad's birthday, let's film a birthday theme." She excitedly pulled a new white dress from her closet. The dress was very short, barely covering her upper thighs. "How about this, both innocent and seductive?" I nodded. "Very good. Then I'll go change." She held the clothes, looking at me with a bit of hesitation. "Go on," I encouraged. "Today I'll film you. I promise to make you look beautiful." Jane's eyes sparkled with trust. I helped her arrange the setting and adjust the lighting. To create ambience, she even took out a small cake and lit a candle on it. "Serena, just film from when I blow out the candle, okay?" She lay face down on the bed, hands clasped, praying before the candle. The faint golden candlelight illuminated her face, giving her a serene, almost innocent beauty. What a pity that beneath this beautiful facade lay a heart that had long since rotted. I raised my phone, turning on the recording mode, but I didn't follow her instructions to only film her lower body. I captured the entire scene, including her face, which had become so devout in prayer. Jane blew out the candle, looked up, and met my lens. She paused. "Serena, why did you film my whole face?" My expression didn't change. I turned the phone screen towards her. "Don't worry, I turned on a beauty filter. It doesn't look anything like the photos you usually post on social media." On the screen, her face, deeply processed by the beauty filter, indeed looked somewhat different from reality. Her eyes were magnified several times, and her chin was sharpened. Jane looked at it, half believing, half doubting, seemingly convinced by me. "All right then, just remember to hide my face in post-production, okay?" "Don't worry," I replied softly. That video, I did indeed hide her face, but I also kept an unedited original version, stored in an encrypted cloud drive. This was my first trump card. From that day on, I became Jane's personal photographer. We had a clear division of labor. She was responsible for being on camera, and I was responsible for filming and post-production. Our business grew better and better, and Jane's appetite grew larger and larger. Ordinary videos could no longer satisfy her. She started pursuing more stimulating, higher-priced custom requests. Once, a buyer offered 50,000 yuan, requesting her to wear a school uniform and film a video on the school's sports field. Jane was tempted, but also a little scared. "Serena, isn't filming at school too risky?" "The higher the risk, the greater the profit," I said nonchalantly. "Besides, it's summer vacation now, there's no one at school." I watched her, slowly enticing her. 50,000 yuan is enough for you to buy several designer bags. Once we finish this, we can rest for a while." Jane was persuaded. She gritted her teeth and agreed. As twilight fell, we secretly sneaked into the school. Jane changed into a modified uniform, short and tight, and writhed her body on the track. The video shoot went smoothly, and the buyer promptly paid. The moment she received the money, Jane excitedly hugged me tightly. "Serena, we've struck it rich." I smiled too. "Yes, you've struck it rich, and your retribution is coming soon." That night, Jane slept soundly because I had added a little something extra to the milk she drank every night before bed. Silently waiting for her to fall into a deep sleep, I crept into her room, picked up her phone, and unlocked it with her fingerprint. I logged into her account and sent the school uniform video to all of her buyers, along with the message, "Exclusive bonus, free gift." After doing all this, I deleted all operation history and put the phone back in its place. Returning to my room, I used my secondary account to anonymously post the original unedited video onto a social media platform with enormous traffic. The title was, "Shocking, high school girl sells herself for money, does this in broad daylight on the sports field." After doing all that, I lay back in bed. That night, I slept exceptionally well. The next morning, I was woken by my mother's piercing scream. "Jane, what is this?" I stepped out of my room to see my mother holding her phone, face ashen, standing at Jane's bedroom door. Jane was also awake, blinking sleepily at my mother, an impatient expression on her face. "Mom, why are you screaming so early in the morning?" "See for yourself." My mother threw the phone at her. Jane picked up the phone, took one look, and all the color drained from her face. On the phone screen was that uniform video, unedited, high resolution, her face clear as day. The comment section below had exploded. "Isn't that Jane from our school? Oh my God, how could she do this? She usually looks so innocent, can't believe she's such a slut. Her parents are even teachers, truly a disgrace to the family. More videos, please." Jane's hands trembled violently and the phone clattered to the floor. No, no, it's not me, she mumbled, her eyes vacant, clearly in extreme shock. My father also heard the commotion and rushed over. After watching the video, he was shaking with rage. He slapped Jane hard across the face. You shameless girl, you've shamed this family completely. Jane fell to the ground, clutching her face, finally bursting into heart-wrenching sobs. It wasn't me, it was Serena. Serena told me to film it. My father pointed at me, too angry to speak. Jane, as if grasping at a last straw, pointed wildly at me. It was her. She was jealous that I was making money. She wanted to ruin me. My mother rushed forward, grabbing my arm, her fingernails digging deep into my skin. Serena, how could you harm your sister like this? She's your own flesh and blood. I looked coldly at my mother, shaking her hand off. Harm her? I turned to Jane. Tears still streamed down her face, looking utterly wronged. I smiled. Jane, I heard that people who do things against their conscience can't sleep peacefully at night. Have you been having nightmares lately? She flinched, a flicker of panic in her eyes. I took a step closer to her, my voice very low, audible only to the few of us there. Do you always dream of a very, very high place? The wind is very strong and a figure falls down. No, I don't. You're talking nonsense. Jane's face was white as a sheet, her eyes defiant, but her trembling voice betrayed her. My father roared, Serena, are you crazy? Your sister is in trouble and you're saying these things to provoke her. I ignored him, continuing to stare at Jane, asking each word clearly. When you fell, the sound of bones breaking, was it clear? Jane clutched her head, frantically banging it against the wall. Don't say it, I didn't mean to. She sobbed and screamed unconsciously, spilling everything out. It was just filming a video, right? No one lost any flesh, did they? On what grounds did she want to call the police? On what grounds did she want to ruin me? I just gave her a push. Who told her to be such a busybody? The living room fell silent. All color drained from my parents' faces. They stared in disbelief at their beloved daughter who was losing her mind. My father extended his hand, pointing at Jane, his finger trembling uncontrollably. You cursed child? The curse remained unfinished. He fell backward, collapsing onto the sofa with a thump. My mother's body swayed violently. She had to lean against the wall to keep from falling. She looked at Jane, then suddenly turned to me. She remembered how, in the past life, I had desperately pleaded with them, telling them my sister had gone astray, asking for their help to talk sense into her. She remembered even more vividly how she had scolded me back then. If you dare call the police, we'll disown you. The words she once thought were an exaggeration now became a bloody reality. It turned out they really had almost lost a daughter. Serena, who wholeheartedly cared for her sister, had already been forced by them in her past life, pushed downstairs by Jane's own hand. Serena, my father's voice was a choked whisper filled with regret. She said. I smiled, but tears streamed down my face. Mom, Dad, do you believe me now? Mom was wrong, Serena, Mom was wrong. My mother suddenly collapsed, crawling on the floor, trying to grab my pant leg. I'm sorry, my child, I'm sorry. My father also had tears in his eyes, slapping himself hard. I was blind, I was blind. I looked coldly at their pathetic, weeping figures, not saying a word. Jane completely broke down. She dared not leave the house, dared not go online, dared not open the curtains. She locked herself in her room, smashing all the designer bags bought with that money, tearing apart the provocative dresses with scissors. She cursed at the air, screamed at her emaciated face in the mirror, saying, That's not me. Get out. All of you get out. It's not me. The person in the video isn't me. She became paranoid and suspicious, feeling that everyone around her wanted to harm her. Once my mother brought her food, and Jane suddenly lunged at her like a madwoman, strangling my mother. It's you. It's all your fault. You and Serena conspired to harm me. I'll kill you all. Her eyes were bloodshot, her strength terrifying. Fortunately, my father rushed in time and pulled her away. Seeing Jane's madness, my parents finally realized that things were beyond their control. They took Jane to a psychologist. The diagnosis was severe depression, accompanied by serious persecutory delusions. The doctor recommended hospitalization. Jane was forcibly admitted to a mental hospital. On the day she left, she wore a patient's gown, her head shaved, her body emaciated to the point of distortion, her eyes vacant, led away by a nurse. My mother watched her retreating back, crying until she almost fainted. My father supported her. In just one night, his hair seemed to have turned half white. The house was completely silent, more silent than death itself. They no longer dared to speak to me with their casual, entitled tone, but began to cautiously try to appease me. One evening, my mother brought a bowl of pork rib soup and placed it in front of me. "Serena, drink some soup, you're too thin." Her posture was humble, like a servant. "I'm not eating." Her face immediately turned pale. My father awkwardly approached, taking a bank card from his pocket, trying to press it into my hand. "Serena, this is a small token from your parents, please take it." I raised my hand and brushed the card away. The bank card fell to the floor with a crisp clatter. "Your sentiments disgust me." They lived in darkness, tormented day and night by guilt. This was the retribution they deserved. A month after Jane was admitted to the mental hospital, I received a strange phone call. On the other end was a man's voice, sounding very young. "Is this Serena?" "Yes, I'm one of Jane's buyers." My heart suddenly clenched. "What do you want from me?" After Jane's incident, we buyers formed a group. We discovered that night someone used Jane's account to send us that video. The man's voice paused. "We traced the IP address. It was your home." My hand holding the phone instinctively tightened. "So what? We know all of this was done by you. What exactly do you want?" A sneer came from the other end of the line. "Don't be nervous. I'm not here to cause trouble. On the contrary, I'm here to thank you." I froze. "Thank me?" "Yes." The man's voice became serious. "You might not know, but after Jane sold videos to us, she sold our information to someone else. That person used this information to extort a large sum of money from us. Among us, some went bankrupt because of it, some were pushed to the brink of suicide. We hated Jane to the bone, but we couldn't do anything to her. You helped us get revenge." I remained silent. I hadn't expected Jane to do such a thing. She truly had developed her greed and wickedness to the extreme. "We've seen all the videos and posts you made. Jane's current predicament is our collective achievement. Today, I called you just to let you know that you are not fighting alone." After hanging up, I couldn't calm down for a long time. It turned out I wasn't fighting alone. It turned out those who had been harmed by Jane were all taking their own ways to get revenge on her. Sometime later, my parents came to talk to me. "Serena, we want to sell this house." I looked at their faces, aged overnight, and their evasive eyes, and said nothing. "We want to leave here, go somewhere no one knows us, start anew. This house is in your father's and my name. After it's sold, the money will be our compensation to you." "No need," I said indifferently. "I don't need your compensation. I just need you to always remember how you lost one daughter and how you personally ruined another. This regret is enough for you to live in darkness for the rest of your lives." After saying that, I turned and went back to my room to pack my meager belongings. Before leaving, I placed a certificate on the table. It was for a plot of cemetery land I had bought for Jane with the dirty money she had earned. "This is the last gift I'm giving you. I hope you take care of yourselves." With that, I pulled my suitcase and left the house that had suffocated me for over 20 years without looking back. After I left, I heard that my parents really did sell the house. They took the remaining money to a small city in the south, and from then on, were never heard from again. I used my savings to make a down payment on a small apartment in a strange city. The apartment wasn't big, but it got a lot of sunlight. I turned the balcony into a small garden, full of various flowers. I found a different job. The pay wasn't high, but it was relaxed. Every day I went to work on time, and in my free time, I read books, planted flowers, or met up with a few close friends to stroll and watch movies. My life finally returned to peace. A year later, I received a call from the mental hospital. They told me that Jane, during an escape attempt, had jumped from the hospital's rooftop, dying instantly. Her death was exactly like mine in the previous life. Hearing this news, I didn't feel the triumph I had imagined. Instead, my heart felt empty. I took a day off and went to that city. I didn't attend her funeral. I simply stood from afar in front of the cemetery plot I had bought for her. After a while, I placed a bouquet of white chrysanthemums down, turned, and left. From now on, neither of us owes the other. Back home, I received a package. Inside was a thick stack of documents my parents' recent situation. In that small city, they weren't living well. My father developed cirrhosis from years of drinking. My mother, to pay for his treatment, had spent all their savings and was heavily in debt. She now washed dishes in a restaurant during the day and worked as a cleaner at night, doing 3 jobs a day, too tired to even stand straight. In the photos, her hair was streaked with gray, her face covered in wrinkles, looking so old I barely recognized her. There was no trace of her former self. Evil begets evil. I threw the documents into the shredder. I began to try things I had never done before. I learned to scuba dive in the deep blue sea, dancing with schools of fish. I learned to skydiving, jumping from thousands of meters high, feeling the weightlessness. I traveled from one strange country to another, seeing the Sahara Desert and the snow on Mount Kilimanjaro. My life became increasingly vibrant. During my travels, I met a man named Arthur Mo, a photographer. We met by Lake Namso in Tibet. That day, I was wearing a long red dress, standing by the lake, looking at the distant snow-capped mountains and blue sky. He approached me and asked, "May I take a picture of you?" I instinctively took a step back. The lens made me feel an inexplicable fear. He noticed, smiled gently, and lowered his camera. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to startle you." His kindness put me at ease. I nodded. Under his lens, I smiled radiantly and freely. It was a side of myself I had never seen. After that, we naturally came together. He was a very gentle man. He never asked about my past, only said he liked the person I was now. Sometimes I still dreamed of the feeling of weightlessness as I fell from a high building, waking up screaming, drenched in cold sweat. Arthur would hold me tight, gently patting my back until I fell back asleep peacefully. He would do everything I wanted to do with me. He would take beautiful photos of me and tell the world, "This is my girlfriend." Being with him, I felt what love was for the first time. In our 3rd year together, he proposed to me. On a mountaintop where you could see the stars, he knelt on one knee, offering a simple ring. "I don't know what happened in your past that made you so full of thorns now, but I am willing to spend the rest of my life slowly plucking each thorn from you. I vow to be your armor, shielding you from rain and wind. Will you marry me?" I looked into his sincere eyes, tears immediately blurring my vision. I nodded vigorously. "I will." The Serena of the past life died at 25. In this life, I married love at 28. Our married life was simple and happy. Arthur still traveled the world, photographing the landscapes he loved. I looked after our home, tending to my small garden. When he wasn't home, I would text him, telling him, "A few more flowers have bloomed in the house." When he was away, he would send me all sorts of postcards, telling me what beautiful scenery he had seen. Each of us had our own sky, but our direction was always home. Our home would always be each other's haven. Sometimes I would still think of my parents. I wondered how they were doing now, but I didn't inquire. Some people, some things, once missed, are gone for a lifetime. Stubbornness only brings more pain to both sides. Several years passed like this, and I became pregnant with a baby girl. Arthur was as delighted as a child, spinning me around several times. He named our daughter Annie. Peaceful and joyful, years of serenity. He said, "I hope our daughter can live her entire life in the sunshine, without shadows, without harm." I hoped so too. I hoped she could have the happy childhood I never had. After our daughter was born, Arthur turned down all work, dedicating himself to staying home with us. He was a good husband and a good father. He would change our daughter's diapers, sing off-key lullabies, and lift her high, making her giggle. Watching the two of them play, I often felt that everything before my eyes was too beautiful to be real, like a dream I never dared to imagine in my past life. When our daughter was 3, our family of 3 went on a beach vacation. Under the sunset, on the golden sand, Arthur held my hand, our daughter followed behind us, stepping into our footprints. The sea breeze gently blew, carrying a salty scent. I turned to look at the extended shadows of the 3 of us in the sunset. I suddenly felt that I had truly healed. The old pains and hatred had slowly faded with time. They didn't disappear. They just became a part of me, reminding me to cherish what I had even more. We enrolled Annie in an art class. She was very talented. The world in her paintings was always full of magical ideas. Arthur carefully framed each of her works, filling an entire wall in our house. He called it Annie's Magical Gallery. On Annie's 5th birthday, we held a small birthday party for her. We invited her closest friends from kindergarten. Watching our daughter in a princess dress, wearing a birthday hat, closing her eyes and praying under the candlelight, my heart was filled with a warm feeling. Arthur hugged me from behind, gently resting his chin on my shoulder. "What are you thinking about?" I shook my head, leaning into him, just feeling very happy. He kissed my temple, his voice filled with a smile. "You'll be even happier in the future." I thought the old stories about the Jane family had completely sunk to the bottom of the river, never to ripple again. Until that day, I received a call from an unknown number. On the other end was an old and weak woman's voice. Is that Serena?" My heart skipped a beat. Even after nearly 10 years, I recognized that voice. It was my mother. I didn't speak, my fingers holding the phone involuntarily tight. "Serena, I know it's you. Please don't hang up." Her voice was tearful. "This is your father's plea. He's not going to make it. Before he goes, he just wants to see you one last time. Please, can you come visit him?" My throat was dry. I couldn't utter a word. Arthur noticed my abnormality, walked over, looking at me worriedly. I shook my head at him, signaling that I was okay. On the other end, my mother was still crying. "Serena, I know we wronged you. We've gotten our retribution. Jane." After she left, your father completely broke down, drinking every day, and finally, he was diagnosed with late-stage liver cancer. Your father is just skin and bones now, in agonizing pain, tossing and turning on the bed, only calling your name. We have no money for treatment. The house is sold. I'm working odd jobs outside. Her words were cut short by a violent coughing fit, sounding like she was coughing up her lungs. I listened silently, my heart devoid of any ripples. I had known all of this long ago. "Serena, please, for your father's sake, just this once." "I don't have a father," I said, then hung up. Arthur took my phone, placed it aside, and pulled me into his arms. He didn't ask who called, nor what had happened. He just held me. I buried my face in his chest, my voice muffled. "I'm fine. Those people, those things, I completely cut them off the moment I decided to leave. Their life or death has nothing to do with me." A few days later, I received another package with no sender information. I opened it. Inside was a thick diary, Jane's diary. The diary was very old, the paper yellowed. It seemed my mother had found it among her belongings after I left home. I didn't know how she found my new address and sent this, perhaps hoping to awaken my last bit of family affection. I sneered, casually flipping through it, until I turned to a page on which was written in black pen. "Serena, that bitch, was smart and good at drawing since childhood. The teacher's praises, my parents' proud looks were never for me. They said they loved me most, but in their hearts, they felt she was the one most worth showing off. I hated her. I wanted them to only see me. I wanted them to know I was 100 times better than her." This was what she wrote after I died. The handwriting was scrawled and frantic, etched deep through the paper. "I killed her. I killed Serena. Why did she like to be such a busybody? Why did she want to ruin me? She deserved to die. But I always dream of her falling from the building. Her eyes just kept looking at me constantly. Serena, you've turned into a ghost, coming back to haunt me, haven't you? Leave me alone, I beg you, I didn't mean to." I threw that diary from the past into the fireplace. Arthur, I didn't know when, was standing behind me. "All dealt with?" I nodded. "Yes, it's all over." He took my hand, our fingers intertwining. "Let's go. Annie's painting won first prize in the children's group in the city. We'll pick her up from school. Tonight we'll celebrate with a big meal." "Okay." I followed Arthur out of the house. Outside, the sun was beautiful, warm upon us. We squinted at the distant blue sky. From now on, my world would only have sunshine, no more shadows.